you have frontline workers who are putting their lives at risk, and you have a doctor who's denied burial from two cemeteries in Chennai, and you have mobs really kind of pelting stones and attacking the family of
Yes.
people, and even you, colleagues like you, who went to actually give him his last rites and a decent burial. So just to talk a bit more about so Dr. Simon Hercules, he was, I think, chief of neurosurgery at the New Medical Center,
New
New
Hope
Medical
Medical.
Center,
Yes.
Chennai, and he passed away due to due to complications
Coronavirus.
of
Yes.
coronavirus
Yes.
on Sunday night.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes.
I have with me Dr. Pradeep Kumar, who his close friend and colleague, who actually had to literally manually bury him. So can you actually tell me, Dr. Kumar, what actually happened that night?
Sir, we were waiting for, as soon as we heard the news of Dr. Simon's demise, it was really difficult for us to even digest, because till previous day, we were so sure that he was gonna, recover and come back and be a part of our, part of us soon. So that is how we were expecting him to be. Everything was fine until that evening, when suddenly he collapsed and they were not able to revive him, and it was really sad. We assembled there and we were all discussing about what exactly the man he was, and such a nice human being he was, and all that. While we were waiting for to receive his body and to go ahead with the burial, we were waiting for the sanitary inspectors to come and help us through the process of burial. The sanitary inspectors came and they approved, and they said we are going to bury in a place, and they said okay, we'll go. But we were waiting. Actually, they made us wait for near about half an hour. That is when we realized it's getting delayed, and we had to go and ask them why is it delayed so much. So the sanitary inspector said, "Sir, the situation is getting worse. There is a protest there happening in a place where he was supposed to be buried." I was literally shocked. We never knew where he was going to be buried, but somehow the news has spread so much that even the protest has even started. I couldn't understand what was happening. I didn't believe, first of all, and I wanted to check it by myself. So I took a car. I took my car. I had few colleagues with me. We went there and we checked. We had near about 200 to 300 people on the road. I was literally shocked to see that. And they were all there protesting. Police was there trying to negotiate, and press was there. Everything was going on there, commotion, and I realized the situation was not conducive at all. So we had to immediately. I drew back and I alerted the sanitary inspectors and all. They said, "Yes, sir, we have changed the venue." They said we'll go to another place to bury. So we were taken to Annanagar Velangadu. So that is the place. They were supposed to. They made all the arrangements for. So we had a procliner there which was working. It was digging. When we entered, the situation was very calm. Nobody was there, no problem, nothing. Everything was very calm. And as you know, it is a corona infected body, so the health inspectors and all, they said not to have so many people around. So only just 10 of us were there, and two or three of their family members, a few close friends, and were there. And out of the nowhere, suddenly we had near about 50 to 60 people suddenly barged in from behind. One mob came from behind, one came from the gate and all. They started yelling, saying, "How did you kind of come into and how did you kind of start digging? Who are you guys?" The corporation officials, they started to, somehow negotiate and speak to them, but they were not in the mood to listen. They started attacking them first, and they were injured very badly. They were bleeding from the head and all. They had to run for their lives. And by this time, the ambulance was attacked. They were pelted, big stones, was thrown, and the ambulance windshield broke. The JCB driver had to run away, and both of the ambulance drivers were very badly injured, and they were also bleeding very badly from their head. Yet
And
they somehow.
where were you in all of this?
I had to run. I was looking at all of this, and I had to literally run for my life. And the ambulance driver somehow managed to take Dr. Simon and get out of that place. And I ran away to my car, and I was about to leave. That is when I saw the ambulance leaving. So I followed the ambulance. By then, I made few phone calls to the police, and few of my colleagues in police, and few of my friends through All of them, I had alerted the health ministry officials through that, and but then I was driving, so we reached the hospital, our New Hope Hospital. Near the New Hope Hospital, the ambulance was standing outside on the road, with Dr. Simon's body in it, with all his body covered with all the glass pieces and all on him. Completely, all the windows were shattered, and both of the ambulance drivers were standing on the road with, bleeding head and all that. And there was a police barricade actually. That is where they were stopped. So police were asking how this happened, what happened, and all that. So I went there and I stopped my car and I asked those people both the ambulance drivers, to go to the hospital first and get treated. And I realized this man is standing here on the road with nobody to care at all. And I was the only one there. So I had to park my car in the hospital, wear a PPE, and I called two out boys, took the ambulance. And, there was no windscreen at all, literally. I had to drive, because I received a call from the, an assistant commissioner from that region. He said, "Sir, we have taken the control of the situation. Now you can come. Now we can bury." Then I reached the burial ground. I realized, nobody else was there to do the final rites, because everybody had already run away because of such a, very bad attack on us. And the JCB driver was not there. Nobody to operate the JCB. And only the three of us, me and two more ward boys were there wearing the PPE. So we had to do it with our own hands. With the fear on one side, when we don't know, the bigger mob will come and attack even the police as well. So was literally scared for my own life, and I had to do something. So we somehow buried him, and had to flee and to literally run away from that scene. The past 2 days, I was whenever I thought about it, whenever I was talking about it, I was doing nothing but only crying about it, because every time I spoke about it, it just kind of flashes right in front of my eyes, where I had to literally hold him and put him inside a grave and push the sand. It was crazy. As a doctor, first of all, as a human being, I would never want this to happen to anybody else. This should not happen to even your worst of your enemies. None of the human beings deserve this. So this is something which, where a person is denied last rights, and so it was really very, 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 very difficult, and it should not have happened to anybody else.
I mean, do you really think that there is some sort of misinformation or there's lack of information for people, to behave like that in such an inhuman manner?
Very well, 100%, yes, true. Because see, there are a lot of missing communication that is happening today in our society. You very well know about this, and I very well know about this, because one thing is said, and one thing, perception is entirely different for each and every individual. They perceive differently. So they said, as you said, there are very prime examples of things, where our prime minister had asked people to clap hands and utensils. I mean, clap hands for the doctors and light candles for the doctors and the healthcare workers. But instead, people were thinking those are going to kill the virus, isn't it? So this is a situation where something else is said and something else is perceived. So something's wrong with either the information, or something is wrong with either the people's perception.
You talked about these examples of how people are reacting in terms of clanging utensils or even cheering. What do you really think needs to be done? What are some of the steps that need to be taken to stop such attacks in the first place?
Sir, you should have to properly let people who make sense to talk. We let doctors to talk. We can't let yogis and and every other guy speaks in the social media these days. Every other individual has his own opinion. But suddenly out of nowhere, somebody will say, this is the cure for corona itself, and people start believing, yeah, there is a cure for corona. And these kind of things should not be. There should be strict laws, media rules, where these kind of things only should be published, and these kind of things should be punished. And this should be something which should be, done. I don't know whether I'm the right person to talk about it or not. You people know about it better. How media is being misused. So media rights are something which you guys should have to fight for, and maybe that is the right thing to do, because this is the time where everybody's rights are under question, not just yours, media rights, doctors' rights as well. This is the right time when we guys are getting attacked. This is the right time when we have to raise our voice as a doctor. I stand for my doctor community and I want to defend them. I want to say that there should be a law which should be passed against the doctors, for violence against the doctors, because there is an act which has been passed 2 years, 3 years back, again, for violence against the doctors. Now I'm requesting the Indian government and state government to pass a law to stop the violence against the doctors.
Your incident, or this incident that happened, it's not in isolation. There have been other incidents which have happened in the country of late. There was an incident of a doctor in Gujarat who was harassed
Yes.
by her neighbors. Even in Meerut, I think some doctors they fractured their limbs, after an attack on them recently by another mob. What I would like to ask you, what are the kind of challenges that you as a medical professional are really facing right now, be it in terms of medical equipment or any other aspect right now? What is it that you'd like to say?
The way we work itself is at stake. Then it gets really difficult for us to perform our own duties. See, there are doctors who were denied. Who are denied to even live in societies. Trust me, so many things happened. I don't want to name. There are MLAs who are highly influential in our city itself, in Chennai city itself. I don't want to name them. Has forced few of the doctors in their societies during this corona time to get out and vacate. Yes, this has happened because the people who were highly influential, the doctors did not want to make it an issue. The issue was subsided, issue was highly kept calm, and they had to do nothing but just vacate the premises and leave. Not just this, there are so many societies which are avoiding doctors today. So if that is the point, if the doctors also try to avoid and do the same thing to the public, trust me, sir, there will be more casualties. So we don't want this to happen. So I'm asking you again, this is the right time for the government to take action. If the government still is going to show the blind eye towards us, then it is going to be really difficult for us to continue our work. We have to survive first to help you people survive. If our survival is at question, we are ready to lose our life. We know that we are going to end up losing our lives, or we are going to end up suffering, because that is what every soldier knows. Every soldier knows before going to a war that they are going to die. Like that, similarly, every doctor also knows. We can get infected. Day in, day out, we are also going on war, and war for the humanity. So, if that in that case, if there is no support for us, trust me, if there is no doctor left to fight for you, then whom are you going to fight with?
One is your threat to life and security and your well-being, literally. Apart from that, are there any kind of other challenges that you as yourself personally as a doctor, or even your other colleagues have been facing?
Yes, definitely we need PPEs. We need, in spite of having PPEs, beaten inside PPEs is definitely not that something which we want to. Bleed inside the PPE is definitely not something which we want to. So this is very important for us. We can even somehow manage to buy a PPE of our own. We spend our own. Anyways, that is what we have been doing. You think, the government hospitals can ask for the private doctors who are seeing, we guys have to buy our own PPEs with our own money. We can't charge the patients more, saying that, yeah, I bought this PPE, come on, give me money. I can't do that. I still consult patients with the same money that I will be charging for a long time. But still, I have to spend the money out of my own pocket to have my own protection, isn't it? So that I'm not questioning about it. I don't want to question about it also.
Sure.
So that is what the issue is. Definitely we don't want to get beaten in those PPEs. That's it.
What you have experienced really, like you said, you wouldn't wish this upon even your enemies, and no one should really have to kind of vary anyone really, for that matter, or even especially your own close friends. How have you been able to kind of go back to work, or have you been able to join back work now? What is that like for you? What is every day now like for you?
So it's been really, I've been going to work. Yes, I've been going to work because I have to. There have been a lot of people who are dependent on me. I'm getting calls day in, day out. Even today, I've got appointments at 4:30 and now I have to leave. And, these are things which we are doing. I can't run away from my duty. Yes, I know I've been attacked. I know I've gone through a lot, but We are warriors. We fight. We fall down, we get up, and we still fight. No option.
I mean, I can only really commend you for your bravery, really, on this at such a difficult time. And we really hope that people out there are listening. And sincere condolences to you and to the entire medical fraternity for what really happened.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar, for joining us.